So I was camping with my dad, and you know, my dad's kind of tough, Army family, Army kind of situation, and I was the rucksack when we were kind of traveling. He said I was starting to complain. He was like, "Look, don't complain." He said, "I want you to say this mantra over and over again. Pain is weakness leaving my body, and I am not weak at all." There's that sense of overcoming the thought traps, overcoming those negative ruminations. But there's a deeper fear that we have to overcome, which is the fear of death. And some of the prayers, I have to look it up exactly where it's at, but some of the prayers of Easter talk about that in the period of Easter, with the risen Lord, and then through the Ascension and Pentecost, that the disciples and the apostles had to overcome the fear of death. You know, I had to learn to overcome discomfort, work against it. But that's a big part of, I think, the whole way Jesus worked with forming his apostles and building them up was to help them overcome. And we see in today's gospel that he's saying, "Peace be with you." He's trying to encourage them. He's trying to strengthen them. But there's a process. They still struggle with doubt. They're still struggling to grasp the enormity of the resurrection. And we're all in that same way, in that process of overcoming the thought traps, overcoming all the negativity. But the ultimate thing is to die to self, which goes beyond our natural ability. We need God's grace to overcome the fear of death. We can't do it on our own. It's not just about being super tough, but about surrendering to Jesus Christ. So I want us to do that, to focus on that, walking the way with the apostles as we're praying through the scriptures, and we see the Acts of the Apostles in the first one, that overcoming the fear of death to do powerful things. Like, can you imagine that? If you weren't afraid of dying, if you weren't afraid of losing everything, the risks you'd be able to take, the courage that you would have. So consider that in this week's spiritual exercise. Amen.